Hello, welcome back to this another video. And in today's video, what we are going to do is we are going to cover the 16th topic of ESI, that is population and demographic dividend. So yeah, without any further delay, let's get into it and see. Introduction. Economics and population growth are closely interconnected. One of the key ways through which population contributes to economic growth is by providing labor. A country with a large population generally has a lower workforce, ensuring easy availability of labor. An increase in labor supply leads to higher production. Okay, population theories. So there is one theory of Malthusian theory, zero population growth theory, optimum theory of population, and theory of demographic transition. This is important, demographic transition. Malthusian theory was proposed by Thomas Malthus. He argued that population tends to grow continuously unless it is checked by natural forces, such as famines, disease, war, or natural calamities. These factors act as natural checks on population growth. According to Malthus, while population increases at a rapid rate, food production and other resources grow at a much slower pace. While population increases at a rapid rate, food production and other resources grow at much slower pace. As a result, food shortages become inevitable. Since the growth of food supply and resources is linear, it leads to a decline in living standards and eventually causes a fall in population. This situation is referred to as the Malthusian catastrophe. Malthus presented his idea in his famous book, An Essay on the Principle of Population, Zero Population Growth Theory, put forward by Professor Emeritus Paul Ehrlich at Stanford University. Unlike Malthus, who focused mainly on food supply, Ehrlich argued that the entire environment, including all natural resources, govern population growth. So this is one of the holistic definition we can say. Ehrlich argued entire environment, including all natural resources, governs population growth. Okay. According to this theory, the affluent sections of society tend to overuse limited resources, resulting in scarcity of essential necessities of life. To prevent such a situation, Ehrlich suggested achieving zero population growth if this can be attained when the birth rate equals to death rate and inward migration equals to outward migration, ensuring that the total population remains constant. This theory is often criticized for being a modern restatement to the Malthusian theory. Optimum theory of population, proposed by Edwin Cannan. According to this theory, an optimum population is the one that allows individuals to earn the maximum possible per capita income, given the available resources and the existing level of technology. This theory examines the relationship between the population size and wealth production. Optimum population refers to a situation where population is neither too large nor too small, but at a society's desirable level. In simple terms, it is the population size that results in the highest income per person. Theory of demographic transition, theory suggested by Warren Thompson. This theory explains that population growth is closely associated with the levels of economic development. I need to highlight this. Population growth is closely associated with levels of economic development. It suggests that every society undergoes a predictable pattern of population change as it develops economically. According to this theory, population growth passes through three distinct stages of economic development. Stages of economic development, stages of demographic transition. Okay, so the stages of demographic transition explain the changes in birth rate and death rates over the time, which helps in understanding the pattern and pace of population growth. These stages also provide insights into the relationship between population dynamics and economic development. According to the UK, broadly three stages. The first stage is marked by high birth rates and high death rates. Since both rates remain equal or over a long period, the population remains almost stagnant, resulting in negligible population growth. Okay, so reasons for high death rate. High death rate also during this stage is mainly due to the absence of adequate medical facilities. Reasons of high birth rate attributed to very low levels of education, widespread poverty, and limited participation of women in economic activities. This stage is commonly observed in underdeveloped economies. In agrarian societies, children start. Okay. Additionally, low per capita income in such economies result in a poor standard of living. A large section of population survives on inadequate nutrition and poor housing conditions. Some countries in Africa and South America are still experiencing this stage. India moved out of this stage in 1920s. Stage 2 is characterized by a low death rate and high birth rate, leading to a rapid increase in population. Low death rate is due to medical facilities, etc. A high birth rate is also due to due to poverty and lack of education and lack of women's participation in the workforce. At this stage is typically this stage is typical of economies where a significant share of population lives in poverty. Asia, South America. India is considered to be in the later stage of phase 2. Okay. In this stage, the proportion of children and youth population is very high. Okay. Stage 3 is a demographic marked by low birth rates and low death rates, resulting in declining rate of population growth. The persistence of low mortality is due to widespread medical facilities, and low birth rate is due to industrialization, family norms, greater participation of women, and social status, high levels of education. Okay, so that was it. Then we have optimum population. When the number of people is in balance with the available resources. This relationship is determined by two factors. Each individual must be assured a minimum standard of living. If 40% of the population suffers while 60% lives in a luxurious life, it clearly means our resources are not equally distributed. The state has limitations while implementing developmental works, be it communist state, capitalist state, and or a welfare state. It cannot exploit all three resources for present generation. Future generations have equal right over these. The third is the stability factor. Progress with a growing population can strain the future. New roads can't outrun traffic jams and farmland disappear, cities sprawl. Then we have India's population trends. Despite occupying only 2.4% of total land area, India is home to about 17.7% of the global population. Later, India is currently in the later stage of stage 2 of demographics transition, where there is decrease in death rate and increase in birth rate. Reasons of rapid economic growth in India. Let us see it in very short. High fertility rates, low literacy rates, child marriages, and declining death rates. The cultural factors is son preference. Then religious belief. Poverty causes people to reproduce more due to they think that more reproduction equal to more number of children. More number of children is equal to in future they will have more hands with themselves to work upon. Lack of social security, yes. Family planning in India. In the first 5-year plan, explicitly progress family limitation, India became the first country in the world to adopt an official national population policy in support of family planning. During this period, government efforts mainly focused on expansion of clinical services. Voluntary sterilization scheme was introduced in second 5-year plan. These measures failed to yield the desired results in the 1961 census. Okay, family planning. During the third 5-year plan, the population shifted from a clinical approach to extension educational approach. Use of mass media, social changes. Despite this, the result remained unsatisfactory. Family planning in the 1970s. Kingpin of planning and considered a small family an essential component of development. A significant shift by integrating family planning services with welfare programs under minimum needs program. In the 1980s, a working group of population policy was constituted under Planning Commission. The population policy under the 7th 5-year plan promoting the two-child family norm, increasing the mean age of marriage for females to above 20, reducing the crude birth rate, providing population education. Then 8 5-year plan target was thus achieved. Okay. National Population Policy 1976 provisions financial incentive for birth control, raising minimum age of marriage to 18 years for girls and for boys 21 years, improvement in female literacy through formal and informal education, popularization of family welfare programs through mass media, expansion of quality education. Okay. Then we have National Population Policy 2000. The objectives of this policy include reducing maternal mortality rate, reducing infant mortality rate, universal immunization, encouraging delayed marriage, promoting small family, integrating population concerns, establishment of National Commission on Population. Issues with India's population policy: overemphasis on contraceptives, leading to excessive focus on reducing population growth mainly through the use of contraceptives. However, fertility behavior is aligned with the willingness of people to have children. Inappropriate coercive methods like forced sterilization, ad hoc and shifting family planning approach, largely imported from Western countries using a misfit in the Indian socio-economic context. Correct. The role of the state should shift from controlling family size to promoting social development and economic progress. Population and economic development. Population density. Density is around 468.7 per square kilometers compared to 382. Due to this, per capita cultivable has been continuously declining. As a result, agricultural productivity is under severe pressure. Strain on resources, unemployment is increasing, environmental damage is also increasing with this. Then population pyramid is also known as age-sex pyramid. Types of population pyramid. Stationary. In a stationary population pyramid, the birth rate is equal to the death rate. As a result, the population remains almost constant. Expansive. An expansive population pyramid is characterized by high birth rate and low life expectancy, implying a high death rate. Constrictive. A constructive population pyramid shows a relatively higher proportion of older population due to low death rate and high life expectancy rate. India's population pyramid. Four 4.3. As the age decreases, you can see that the life expectancy also decreases. 3.4 population pyramid. 3, 2.6, and then you can see that finally it becomes 0.5, 0.3, 0.1% till the age of how much? Till the age of 85 to 89. Okay. India's population pyramid is bottom heavy, indicating a relatively larger share of children, adolescent, and young adults in the total population, which is actually good. However, this does not imply an immediate decline in India's population, as males outnumber females in most cohort of India's population pyramid. Then we have demographic dividend. Let us see what is a demographic dividend. The economic growth potential that can arise from changes in the population's age structure, particularly when the working age population is bigger than the non-working age population. When the working age population outnumbers the non-working age group, there is a potential for economic gains. Demographic dividend in India. India has around 48% of the population in the working age group and 31 under 14 years old. According to economic survey, India's demographic dividend will peak around 2041, when the stage of working age expected to hit around 60% working age population. India's population pyramid reveals that over 2/3 of the population is of the working age. This makes India a as one of the youngest countries in the world. The median age in India is 28 years. Opportunities related to demographic dividend. There can be economic growth, infrastructure development, labor supply, formation of capital, female human capital migration. Advantages of demographic dividend: increased economic growth, increased labor force productivity, increased fiscal freedom, increased employment of women, and rapid urbanization and industrialization. Then we have challenges associated with demographic dividend. Asymmetric demography. The increase in the working age population is projected to be concentrated in some parts of India's poorest states, and demographic dividend will not be fully utilized if India can establish gainful employment in these people. Skewed gender ratio from 34.8% to, according to the data of the International ILO and the World Bank, India cannot hope to capture demographic dividend without engagement of women. So there is more engagement of males in the workforce as compared to the females. Informal sector. Another barrier to realizing the benefits of India's demographic transition is the country's informal sector. Because of deindustrialization and deglobalization, the fourth industrial revolution and technological innovation, there is growing concern that future growth will be jobless. Measures to overcome the above challenges: skill development, education, health, job creation, and managing the aging population. This is just basics of the gist of the entire topic. I think that would be it for this topic of population and demographic dividend. And I hope to see you in the next and the last video, I guess. Thank you for staying, and thank you.